It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Time for the Monday Night Raw review on March 10th, 2026. We don't have the full rundown yet for NXT tonight for the Fallout episode of NXT after Vengeance Day over the weekend, but we do have the results and our thoughts on what went down last night in Seattle. We started things off, and I did miss the first 30 minutes of the show, so I missed the felonious Looney Tune Rudy Poo masked men fiasco and the start of the gauntlet match. Before we get into that, this is going to be a very short and sweet episode. I'm running late for work. I'm about 15 minutes away, so we are going to keep this short and sweet, kind of like Drew McIntyre's championship reigns as of late. But just kidding, but not really because it's true. We want to thank our friends over at No Dirt Sheets for Surfshark VPN. As always, the link is below. And also a new one, Blackout Coffee. I'm more of an energy drink, but to all the coffee drinkers out there, energy drink guy, but to all the coffee drinkers out there, feel free to click the link below to get some Blackout Coffee or use code NickW20 for 20% off. A sip of White Monster, very crisp, very good way to wake yourself up in the morning with that White Monster. And I'm still working on finding a way to become a Monster affiliate because I am just giving a lot of money to Monster over there. But this is again the Monday Night Raw review for March 10th, 2026. Last night's episode was in Seattle, Washington, and it was a very odd feeling show. We start things off with the masked men. Pierce comes out, addresses Rollins. Rollins comes out, then all the masked men come out. The Vision, Logan, and Austin Theory go to attack him, and then they do this like spinning around in the ring to confuse um, Logan and Theory on which one is Seth. And apparently, the masked man from the episode of SmackDown before Elimination Chamber was one of Rollins' students from his school. So if this is a way to get them onto TV, but being masked figures, masked men, whatever it is, cool. But if it doesn't amount to anything more than that, what are we doing? What is what is this doing for Theory and Logan other than making them look stupid? And what is this doing for Rollins? Um, I missed the whole beginning, so I didn't get to see it. I saw it looked just as explained. Um, what not cleared, but he's on TV. Going for WrestleMania, going towards Seth finding a partner and bringing someone from his school right up to the main roster with him, and seemingly being his tag partner before WrestleMania. But it was also interesting that he helped Theory win when he cost Seth Rollins the shot and stomped him. This was going into WrestleMania 39 when we got Logan and Rollins 1-on-1, and then Theory ended up winning. So that it's very cool whenever you can find the long term storytelling plots from way back when and piece it together. All right. Hopefully, I wasn't muted for long. I think it muted me whenever I reconnected. So, um, yeah, this direction with the vision is kind of crazy. It, you know, got to figure this out. But the women's gauntlet match, Bailey would win, become the number one contender for the women's intercontinental championship. We're getting Bailey and AJ Lee next week on Monday Night Raw. I see this one going down with Becky Lynch interfering, and then they build for the triple threat leading up to WrestleMania because they did harp on the fact that Bailey missed WrestleMania last year when Becky took her out. So that would be a great way to get back at her by bringing it full circle and then having them go against each other. So with all the history that they have together, four horsewomen, all that good stuff. Becky kind of gave Bailey the opportunity to join her right after that whole WrestleMania fiasco when Becky turned on Lyra. Um, but I see triple threat loading for the women's intercontinental championship: AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, and Bailey. Which then, what do you do with Lyra? I don't know. You could have her also in the match and have her turn on Bailey. Hell, they could at some point do the turn. They could do the turn in 2 weeks and then have Bailey and AJ team against Becky and Lyra. That would be an interesting twist. Um, I guess it doesn't. I don't know how they would actually get there with Becky and Lyra teaming back together, but um, you got to do something. The way Lyra came out and helped her was like a little bit too like, hey, I helped you and you're not really saying it, and then you're just gonna give me a pity shot once you win the title, but you haven't won the title yet. So we'll keep an eye on how that goes. After the gauntlet match, we would get a run in with original El Grande Americano or Chad Gable and Danhausen backstage. We would see Danhausen ask Chad Gable if he wanted to team up with him. Gable said no, told him to get away. Danhausen cursed him, and then Penta came out for the Intercontinental title, and then we had El Grande Americano come out, Ludwig Kaiser come out instead of Chad Gable. Penta goes on to win. Now we get the match made for next week: El Grande Americano versus original El Grande Americano. That whole thing was insane. During the commercial breaks in this match, Danhausen would come out and talk to the crowd and throw T-shirts and everything. So that was pretty cool that they got to see Danhausen and get some shirts thrown out. And Cole and Graves were hilarious with that one. But overall, that was a good match, and we'll get El Grande versus original El Grande next week on Raw. Then we had Obafemi beat Rusev. This was a back and forth match. This was good timing and good. It was a good filler because that's all it ended up being. This was the start of the 10 o'clock hour and took us right up to about 10:15 when CM Punk came out. And then CM Punk was interrupted by the Usos after he had some more choice words for Roman Reigns and the Usos family. And the Usos came out, and this was seemingly Punk's heel turn. Also, speaking of heel turn, we also had a backstage with Judgment Day. Dom called for Finn and couldn't find him. So then Dom, Liv, and Raquel went out to the ring. Finn and JD would then come out, and we got the turn finally. The Finn Balor face turn and him leaving the Judgment Day or getting kicked out of the Judgment Day rather. And then Dom and everyone turning on Finn. JD would stick with the Judgment Day. He would intercept Finn as he was going in to hit Dom. It was a good fight. I mean, finally, it was a good payoff moment after 2 years of waiting. We finally got this heel turn. So it is about damn time. Um, Then we went into Rusev and Obafemi. I still think Obafemi is going to be the one to answer Brock Lesnar's open challenge. Other than that, I don't know what you would do with him. I mean, having him win the Battle Royal on SmackDown is great, and then having him come out as the winner of that, and then to answer Brock Lesnar's open challenge, I think is the way to go. No Gunther featured on last night's show, which was very interesting. So he's kind of been off TV for a little bit. I know he just wrestled Dragon Lee, but or Ray Phoenix, or whichever one that was. I think it was Dragon Lee because partners with AJ Styles, but yeah, we haven't seen him in quite some time on back-to-back episodes in a while. So, what Gunther does at WrestleMania, I don't know. I really don't know. Um, that is left up in the air. So Gunther could be the one to answer Brock Lesnar's challenge. Brock will be back next week on Raw, as will Roman, and we're getting. They did advertise 4 things next week for Raw this instead of just 3 this time, and that's already. We again have Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar return. We have AJ Lee versus Bailey. We have El Grande Americano versus Original El Grande Americano, and that is Monday Night Raw for next week. They are in San Antonio, Texas, so of course that's a closer trip for Roman to make, which is why he's live. And the Usos, again, that final segment, CM Punk basically turns heel, was getting booed as the Usos walked out of the ring. So that is very interesting for Punk to turn heel in that way. Just more shots at Roman, even though the Usos said it wasn't about Roman twice, and Punk continues to take jabs at Roman for not showing up, for holding the title hostage, and it didn't land like they thought it was gonna land. It was good overall. It was fun to see the Usos and CM Punk. I think it would have been better. I think it would have been better if you had the Usos go after Punk, or because you had Jay push Punk down, and then they just walked out of the ring. So they could have figured out a way to end it better, but we'll get another run in with Punk and Roman next week, more than likely. So that will continue to build over the next couple weeks, and Roman should be on the rest of March. Be on Raw for the rest of March, and then the first 2 weeks of April as well. So that is going to do it. Finally getting some people on here, up to 5, and we're going to have to wrap this one up. I'll be back later today for the NXT preview. Once that card is fully released, we will be back to do that one. We'll be back live across Rumble, across YouTube, and Twitch, and Facebook, and all that good stuff. So we'll be back later today. But until then, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. I'm Nick Wietosh for Sleeper Sports Media across No Dirt Sheets as well. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. I will see you a little bit later today. Thanks again, and here we go.